The bears rugged one more time here. And how many times are we going to knock on that door of SPX 7,000? We talked about the levels earlier this morning. We'll talk about some ODTE stuff going on here with the market, as well as much more. But again, first, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to build out the new channel here, doing the daily video every single day. As always, comment your thoughts, and you can find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Let's adjust that there. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So markets today, with basically a trend day. So SPX up 0.5%, Q's up 70 basis points, breadth here, 291 advancer versus 210. So pretty good here. The Russell did dip in the afternoon a little bit, but the Dow was the big winner. Diamond here up 1%, so good day. Staples up as well, new all-time high. A lot of people ask me, why are you bullish Staples, Aaron? Convexity, that's the real answer there, as well as January effect, but we're into February, and that is up, continuing to be higher here today. Also, the boring stocks here, healthcare up a little bit as well. And Apple, our favorite here, was a really big winner here, up 4%. We talked about 270. In fact, I actually tweeted about this this morning and said, hey, look at for that 270. We flipped bull there, and that's back when we were still at 260. So dealer positioning working out very well. By the way, speaking of dealer positioning, again, don't forget of our sale. Active Trader, 60% off first month. It's an absolute no-brainer. Don't know what you're waiting for here still, as we are nailing these levels. In fact, I told you in the morning video this morning, look for 70-20 ES. Look for the market to peter out right there. What was the high of the day? 70, 17. Okay, we got really close. I guess it's not really worth it then. Anyway, but yeah, big round trip move here. A lot of volatility in the overnight, and again, bears left at the altar. It's a story over and over here. We talked about this last week. Again, fund managers still fighting the rally. I don't think positioning is there really just yet for a large decline. It just isn't. Is it getting closer? I think it's getting closer, but at the same time here, 1, 2, 3, 4 lower highs here with higher lows with essentially equal highs here on the ES. And they're just hammering on this. I mean, it's just hammering and hammering. And, the last 3 out of the last 3 days, we've tested these lows, and they've gotten absolutely stuffed like a turkey every single time. So buyers are coming in here. They're stepping up. And, eventually it just has to go the other way. And we talked about making new highs this week. And, we're still on track to do that. We're right there. The cash S&P is only about 20 points away, not even, 7,002. We got 11 points away. So we're not that far away. We could, we did leave a little bit of air here. Excuse me. A little bit of air here. But, I mean, the macro here, like big higher lows here. We're not going to cry over this this little air right now, especially when, it's all we did was fill out the air that the bears left. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We could see a retrace. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is how it's been recycled, right? We gap down, it's bought, we rally up, and then it retraces, and then, then on Friday the bears get all bearish, and then they post nothing but, pornography all weekend, and then, it just reverses. So, but at some point here, I mean, you can see it. You can see the compression, right? Higher lows equal highs. The range is compressing. And I'm still in the camp that this does need to test higher prices first. So anyway, pretty compressed there. There's the NQ. Right, very nice. And again, that's another winner this morning here on TKQ. That's 5 in a row for us here, just on this trend line reclaim here, off of that old school low. Boom, right there, and nice rally. So Q's got to get back up here again. 26,000 resistance. So on and so forth, ad nauseum. It's been 1,000 times we've hit it, but overall we just keep making higher highs here on the cash S&P. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We have jolts. We got AMD after the bell, and then Wednesday we've got Google, and we got jobs, but we're not going to get the full jobs number because of the government shutdown. So Cuba, government shutdown, bank failure, which by the way, bank failures are bullish. And Bitcoin, that was all the FUD over the weekend, and again, it just resulted in another squeeze. So right now I'm still kind of in that camp here. And by the way, transports, new all-time high, new all-time closing high, right? KRE Just shy of new 52-week highs. XLF with a nice rebound here. You know, broker dealers, they held up pretty well. So I don't really see, you know, HYG had that that dividend, but, you know, finished up 6 basis points. So we're not really seeing like any systemic problems here. SMH had a nice rebound of 1.13. NVIDIA was in trouble though. NVIDIA saving 185 at the end of the day. And, you know, when this market does correct, I do think this stock will be vulnerable. You know, another thing too, VIX engulfing candle, right? You know, pretty nasty reversal there. VIX futures, right? Outside day down, wiped out the last like 2 weeks worth of action pretty much. So a lot of bear uncertainty over the weekend, but no real, you know, nothing to really show for it. Diamond still just shy of 500. Dow, you know, in the same place as the YM. Only 500 points more to go here for the YM there. Caterpillar had a good day. New all-time high. Goldman, JPM. Right. There are room for lower highs on some of these, though, I will say. You know, SMH with the rebound. IGV, still a little weak here. Getting close to that 89.50 area, and I still like it down here. Microsoft took a little bit of a hit. Still holding under the 618. This still has to clear 430. We'll see 435 I'm seeing as a number come up for Wednesday and Friday. So we'll look at those later in the week and possibly tomorrow. A little divergent here as well. Not to mention a little higher low there. But Microsoft under some pressure. We talked about the transports. TLT got hammered here today. So TLT getting whacked. TYX 4.9, so on the 30-year there. And then the 10-year. And again, I know this is going to be an argument too. Oh, well, the rates are going up. What if I told you that rates going up in fiscal dominance can actually be bullish risk assets? Also, rates going higher steadily aren't really the end of the world. But nonetheless, you know, rates up today. The 2-year note was down quite a bit. Yield futures are too thin. I didn't feel like flipping over. But nonetheless, XHB up 71 cents. IYR down 1%. We talked about fins already. Oil got hit early, but bounced a little bit here. Don't love I think it will be green tomorrow. I don't really love the price action here. I mean, we hit this level, right? So let me go to a 4-hour. So here's your low after the high. So I take a fib there. We hit the 618. It's a good area, but no follow through. We'll see what it does tomorrow, though. It should still have some bull momentum for a lower high here. I'd be shocked if we were. I wouldn't say shocked, but I'd be a little surprised if this continues down to 60.50 tomorrow. And if it doesn't bounce there, I'd be really surprised. But we'll see what happens here. XLE down 2%. This has had a nice run. XOP, a little bit of a gap. A little mini kind of islandish type look there. And OIH still continuing to be strong. We still like that. Nat Gas got pounded here today down 24%. Nothing serious though. It's a normal day, normal day for Nat Gas. Dollar index. So record premium bets against the DXY here. We talked about this as well last week. Said watch out. You know, if this becomes if this comes to a wyckoff here. With the lower low, that could be a spring. I know the dollar is worthless, which is why every one of you in the comments is going to rushing in to buy yuan right now. But if it does rally, if the most worthless currency in the history of mankind does rally, you know, you could see a squeeze here, and you know, I think 98 would probably be that trigger. It might have already triggered, but yeah, back above these pivots here would certainly do that. But if it rejects here, then, you know, it's in trouble. I think right now, though, the most likely scenario is a test of 98 and then a higher low and then a retest. But, yeah, dollar index getting a bid here. Gold under pressure. Beautiful. Perfect technical, so you gotta love this trend line here. Right into that, and a nice bounce off of that. And it closed back above these pivots, above that 4,600 handle. So nice rebound for gold. We'll see if it can go retest 5K tomorrow. Let's go back to the 4 hour, and we'll say that's the confirmed low. I'll call that a confirmed low for now. Yeah, 50.25 and then 51.70 are some fib retraces to be of interest. And then silver here, if you look intraday, it looks like it didn't do shit. It looks weak. But on the daily, it's like, oh, that's a big bounce there, right? So it made a new low. It spiked to 50. I talked to members about 75. I said, watch for this retrace to 75. It held, and I think it can get a little bit more of a bounce here, but it is much weaker than gold, much weaker. Platinum here, big slice, lower low, though tops in there most likely. And then palladium here, that did crack out a green day. So that was the only PM that cracked out a green day. And it looks like it's going to close above that pivot too. So palladium holding up, copper getting hit as well. But again, these all got bought here. There's a lot of volatility, right? Tons of volatility. Bitcoin, green day. So the world didn't end for Bitcoin, but it is, it definitely... I mean, look, we talked about this trend line here, beautiful retest there. And sometimes that's a nice thing about Bitcoin too. You don't have to worry about, oh, the CEO said this or the earnings said that, just pure technicals, right? And, we bounced here, we went down. I didn't love the bounce on Friday. I talked about that. It could have been a double bottom, but I would have liked it if it just puked that and then went sideways Saturday, Sunday. It didn't really do that, did it? So it kind of continued to sell. Made a new low this morning, and we got everybody's fabled 75,000 finally hit. So congrats to everybody who's been calling for that for 10 years. But but nonetheless, it caught a little bit of a bounce today. I just want to say this right here. So if we can clear this low here, it can definitely squeeze. It can rip people's heads off here. I will say, though, if it doesn't do that, you do have a measured move here on Bitcoin. And it's, it takes it down quite a bit. So it would take you down into this 50K area. So, and I can get it exact, but, it's in that area, right? Now, that doesn't mean, just so because I know somebody's already typing something up right as I say this, that doesn't mean that it's going to go there tomorrow. That doesn't mean like, oh, it's going to crash. Like it could rebound. It could do this, and then it could go like that. Right? There's a million different routes. It could not get there. Maybe it bounces here, makes a new low at 68, and then does this. I mean, there's a million different ways it can go. But I would just be cognizant of that setup here. But watch this in the near term. This is a little beat up. So, if you start to get some sort of a bounce here, and maybe even like a lower low, it could put in a divergence. It could have a failed break here. So I'm watching for multiple scenarios here of Bitcoin. I'm not really acting on them until I see the one I like. But it was, got hit over the weekend. But yeah, S&P though, it looks like it's bidding up here a little bit after hours. It did PLTR report. I believe they did. So Palantir earnings here. Didn't even think of that. No, nice pop there. So that'll help IGV, I'm sure. Yep, IGV catching a little uptick. Nice move. Speaking of IGV, Oracle, they had some news this morning. Yeah, that faded a lot of that. That's still soft. I'm not seeing dealers step in on this stock, by the way, yet. They can go even to like 145 if I'm not mistaken. But nice pop for PLTR. Let's take a look at NQ. I'm sure that's getting more of a bid. Yep, so that's now up 80 basis points. Fix our chart there. Yeah, nice little pop there. Not much. Let's helping out the futures though. But again, as far as the S&P, I just have to point out the higher lows here. And every time we try to take it down, it puts in a higher low. And that's 3 days in a row that they've tried really hard to take this down, and it has not been able to. And we're going up on bad news too. That's the other thing. So anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up here. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow.